welcome to the Love Chat, another episode of Uncut, Unedited, Unfiltered. Today is a sister chat. I want to welcome you to our world today. Today's world, we have a special guest. She's a business owner, mother, first lady of the church, which means, if you don't know what that is, a pastor's wife, a daughter of a pastor, an entrepreneur. As I said before, she wears many hats. I would like the Love Chat tribe to welcome today our special guest, Miss Sydria Stafford-Clark. Hello.
Hey.
Hello, doll. How are you?
Fabulous. How are you?
I'm not going to complain at all.
Well, good. Wouldn't fix anything anyway, right?
You better, you look, you're already preaching. Already. So, for those of you that don't know, Sydria and I, as a connection to each other, we have known each other for many, many years. Many. I'm not going to say how many because that'll tell you how old we really are. And I'm sticking to
right.
$8.95 plus shipping and handling. How about you?
Right behind you.
So we've known each other since womb. How about that? That'll work.
Yes, yes.
We go way back.
Absolutely.
Not only are we friends, we are sisters. She's one of the godmothers to my children.
Right.
With the S. So we the title, if you've noticed, the title of this podcast is Wearing Many Hats. And I think over the years, both of us have had several hats, and we teach each other how to balance them.
Right.
So today's subject is probably something we've both been asked many, many times. How do we balance wearing so many hats?
Yes.
Okay. So, as I said, she's a mother. As you know, she's a sister. She's a daughter. She's a wife. She's an entrepreneur. She's a first lady. She's a preacher's kid. We're going to dive into how you balance all those things. But as we're doing that, before we do that, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. So first things first, because we have known each other for so long, and because you did say a couple of times already that this is unedited,
yeah,
I want to make it very plain that I am the girl next door. I am super down to earth. I love family. I love friends who, to me, aren't really friends. They're family. And I love to laugh and have fun. And so I don't want the fact that I'm a pastor's wife to make it seem like the cliche pastor's wife.
right.
Where I'm untouchable or I'm not down to earth and standoffish and all that stuff. That's just not me. Most of the time, I tell people to call me by my first name, especially outside of church, because I do want to remain myself. I want to keep my identity as who I am as a sister and as a friend.
Right.
So, yes, I do wear multiple hats, but let's start off telling the truth. Every now and then, I tend to drop a hat.
Talk about it.
Accidentally, though, not on purpose. It's not like I just pull them off.
Right.
Drop them every now and then. But that's the benefit of having other entrepreneurial girlfriends and sisters.
Right.
Because then they're able to coach you into getting back in line and getting started and maybe inspiring you a little bit more.
I like the way you put that. They bring you back to, they're coaching you and getting you back in line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's what how do I put it? We fail to grasp And I think the only way we can grasp that is that we need to understand that there's a problem in our society right now where we feel like what the old people say, crabs in a bucket,
Right.
because we don't want to give them or let them know what we are doing, because we don't want them to come up where we are.
Right. Right.
But the sad part is, why do you want to be up there by yourself?
I don't. Yeah, I don't. And there are people like that. They want to be there by themselves. And I think there may be different reasons why that happens. Some people just, want to be on top of everything and everybody, which is selfish and ignorant, if I can say that.
You say it.
you know and then there are some people that want to be up there by themselves because they don't trust anybody else, and they don't trust that other people can be at the top with them but still celebrate them too. So I think there's different reasons, but it is definitely an issue in the sisterhood.
Yeah.
Honestly, it really is. We just don't want to share success. But honestly, for me, I could not have maintained and managed being all of the different things that I am without having sisters that are there now and have been there before me.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it by myself, and I'm not a isolated type person, so I need somebody there with me. I want somebody to share it with. I want someone who's not only going to celebrate my successes, but understand how hard I worked to get there.
Right.
And her understanding is a little different when she's worked just as hard to be as successful as she is.
Well, so that brings the question: how did you learn to trust others with your success? Here we go back to being uncut, unedited, unfiltered. When we say success, a lot of people see success as money, as tangible things. No, I'm saying success in life, period. I don't care if it's the dollars in your bank, if it's the clothes on your back, if it's just the fact that you're still standing, still alive. I mean, right now we're in a pandemic. You're still standing. So how did you learn to trust others to share your success with them?
Well, at the risk of sounding super deep, honestly,
It's
been by the grace of God and the help of God, because me in my flesh would probably still be afraid of trusting people because of past hurts and things that others have maybe said about me, to me, or done to me. And so having to really rely on God and wanting to keep God first has always been how I've been able to not have fear of other people, or not wanting to seem like I'm afraid of people being close to me. So as an entrepreneur, I do share my successes, and I'm not afraid to share my successes, but wisdom is key.
Yes.
And you can't tell everybody everything. You kind of have to know who people are and where they are in life and in their maturity and their walk with God. And so you can't just, run around saying everything and telling all the stuff, But definitely keeping God first and keeping the word of God forefront helps me to not, be as frightened and timid.
Right. Well, see, now you said something before, but before I answer that, I'm gonna go back, or not answer, before I touch on that, I'm gonna touch back on the balances. Right now, I'm gonna tell the audience. I love you, tribe. So does Sydria.
Amen.
We said uncut, unedited, unfiltered, sister chat. We will be deep, and we will be undeep.
Undeep.
Okay? We'll get low and we'll get high. Today. So, if this is not the chat for you, God bless you and all your good parts. This is time for you to exit this podcast. So let's carry on, Jelly. When you said, as you were talking about how you learn to trust people, and using wisdom because of how your flesh reacts. I'll be honest, that's a struggle for me.
It's not easy.
It's in business, it's a little bit different. We're talking about juggling hats. For me, business, not so much. I, like you, born and raised in the church.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember not being in church.
Right.
And it feels funny not to be there. Thank you, COVID, but it feels real funny not to be
It does.
there. Thank you for the vacation, but it's don't feel right.
Yeah, you've taken it too far.
Yeah, too far. I mean, even when we go on vacation, we find somebody's church to go to.
Right,
We
right.
can't go nowhere. But
Mm-mm.
for me, that I will gladly, transparently admit that I do have trust issues as far
Mm-hmm.
as trusting people in ministry,
Mm-hmm.
because of past hurt.
Right.
Uh, I and this is just not something that's always happened. So let me make that clear. So
Mm-hmm.
I've said this before. Those of you that have been listening before, that there has been this transition in my life over the last 5 to 6 years, and me in
Mm-hmm.
ministry, becoming an evangelist, preaching. That's not something that I brought up doing. I've seen it from time to time, but it wasn't something that I thought was for me. In
Mm-hmm.
this season, I've found that I've had to figure out how to trust people. And it takes
Right.
a lot of prayer. And
Right.
people become what's making me the switch in the season is that I realize that my reaction to my hurt makes me react towards certain people certain
Mm-hmm.
ways, and it hurts them.
Right. Right.
So I'm ideally, is that the word I want to use, or naturally a family person.
Mm-hmm.
My good friends, as you all heard me at the beginning, she's my sister.
Mm-hmm.
We've known each other forever. And I
Right.
naturally lean on them.
Right.
But when God puts you in a season where those people can't be there up front, so example, for many years, me and Sydria were in the same church.
Mm-hmm.
Her father was our pastor,
Right.
but God moved me and I had to be somewhere else. And
Right.
I was like, what am I doing? No, I didn't know how to do it, but I couldn't have her with me while I came into
Mm-hmm.
this season.
Right.
So now the question is, how do you juggle that? Whether it be entrepreneur, a boss, a mom, a pastor's kid, whatever your hat is, or mini hat, how do
Mm-hmm.
you juggle that transition of learning to
That's
trust those people you don't know?
that's difficult. It's really, really difficult. It's not easy. And because both of us are church girls or pew babies, as they used to say,
Mm-hmm.
we've seen a lot.
Yeah.
And it wasn't all good.
Right.
It just wasn't. And so there is a real thing called church hurt.
Yeah.
And so when you have church hurt, it's different than when the world hurts you,
Right.
because your expectation and the standard of how church people should live, act, and react is a lot higher.
Mm-mm-mm.
We expect them to know better.
Right.
So when they mess up, or they mess up hurting you in what seems and feels intentional, then you close down because you feel like, if I can't trust church people, who can I trust?
Right.
So it's difficult. It's not easy. I think a part of what makes it an easier transition and what helps is always keeping in mind that even church people make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing we have to understand is, and my husband preached this message several years ago, and I'll never forget it. He preached a message, topic was the difference between church people and word people.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I got to
So
write that
church
down.
people, right? So church people are the people that are at church, but not necessarily in church.
Mm.
Church people are the people that go to church because that's what Big Mama and them did. So that's what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Church people aren't necessarily the people that really have a real relationship with God. So there's a few differences between church people and word people. I'll
Right.
give you one. So let's just say, for an example, you've got church people sitting on your left and church people sitting on your right.
Mm-hmm.
When church people on your left do something to offend you or hurt you, and you take it to them the way the Bible says that you should,
right.
they don't want to hear you.
Mm.
They'll figure out a way to make their offense your problem.
Mm.
I victimized you, but you deserved it.
Ooh.
I took advantage of you, but that's what you get. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna treat you any kind of way. And by the way, you're saved, so you don't get to have feelings or an opinion about it.
You put it there. You stepping on some toes, but keep stepping right there. Keep going.
That's what it is. That's how
Mm-hmm.
church people react to your offense when they've hurt you.
Yes.
Now, the word people that are on the right, when they hurt you and offend you, when you go to a word person and say that hurt, they say I'm sorry, and they don't even know what they did.
Mm.
Because their heart and their intent was never to hurt you in the first place.
Right.
They'll say, oh my God, sis, I'm so sorry. I hurt you. Please forgive me.
Yes.
Will you forgive me? Because they'll tell you and then ask you to forgive them.
Mm.
And then when you say, I accept your apology, sis, I forgive you, they may then say, what did I do? And they ask not to be funny. They really may not know.
Yes.
But they ask because they don't want to do it again.
Right. Correction.
So it's not that church folks won't hurt you and word folks won't hurt you. You're going to get hurt. Wherever there are people, there is an opportunity to be hurt.
My God.
Their response to how you feel about it, it's what's going to tell you who they are.
Mm.
Now that you know who they are, you can categorize them based on the fruit they bear.
You better come on and preach.
Now, some people will say, oh, that's judging. No. That's fruit inspection.
Mm-mm-mm.
I know who you are. And so when I know that you're church people, when you act out, I'm not as offended. Because that's just where you are. I'm not putting you down.
Right.
I'm just acknowledging that that's where you are. And I'm now not as offended by your ignorance. Because now I know who you are.
Right.
Now, it's not biblical, but we all have heard it. Maya Angelou said, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. Everybody agrees with it until you apply it to them. So now that you've got everybody in the category that they belong in, and now you can deal with them on the level that they're in, now you're not as sensitive to church people acting out. That's what they do until they grow up. And then when you get them in a place in your heart and mind where you understand who they are and how they are, you're not as offended with them. But on the opposite side with the word folks, you can say, oh, okay, I know that if she offended me, I can say, sis, that was offensive. That hurt. Right. Because she's going to be okay. So now you got everybody in the proper perspective. You know everybody and who they are. Now you can decide who it is that you can allow into your personal space with all of the different hats that you wear. Now you can say, okay, I can trust this person in this aspect, in this area of my life. And that's how you get to a place where you will allow people into certain places in your life. Now, I have some wonderful sisters, but not all of them can be allowed into every aspect of my life. Right. And that's okay. I can't be allowed into every aspect of everybody else's life either. And that's another thing. We got to stop doing to people what we don't want done to us. So if you have a problem with people putting you and allowing you into certain areas in their life, then be real careful when you allow certain people into your life in certain areas. Right. You don't get mad because Sister So-and-so didn't want you to be at the hospital when she gave birth to her baby. I literally had somebody did that to me. I was in labor with Princess, and I promised the lady that I would tell her. Now, we were friends, but we weren't necessarily tight. We were cool. We weren't tight, So I promised that I would tell her when I went into labor, and I did. After I got to the hospital and I got in the bed on the monitor and everything was getting started, I picked up the phone and I called and I was like, I promised that I would call you, and I'm at the hospital, I'm in labor. And she invited herself. She said, I'm on my way. I said, hey, wait. Whoa, wait a minute. We ain't that tight. No, no, no. See, the doctor told me I could have 4 people here. That my husband and I had already picked those 4 people. So I told this what I said. I don't want to hurt her feelings. I said, well, I can only have so many people in the room with me. But if you want me to call you or have my husband call you after the baby is born and you come see her, you can do that. She literally flipped. She yelled. She fussed.
Oh.
She went off. I literally, in labor, had to hang up the phone on her and have my husband call her husband to ask her not to come to the hospital because I didn't need that atmosphere.
Mm-mm.
And so sometimes there are just certain places where people are allowed and where they aren't. And it's okay to do that.
You know, I think that goes with the subject of we have a problem with, and this is all going to tie together. You'll figure it all out. You know, we kind of random on Love Chat,
Mm-hmm.
people,
Mm-hmm.
because that's how we are. We random. We,
All
squirrel.
day.
It happens. There's 2 things. The first thing is the expectation.
Right.
We my God today. Okay, God, I feel you pushing on me, and I'm using my bishop voice. I feel you pushing on me, God. These expectations that we have of people, we don't get it. Word people will
Right.
sometimes realize that you're acting differently,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
before you get a chance to say you hurt me, they'll be like, is everything okay?
Right.
Is there something I
Right.
can do?
Right.
They won't haste to do that. Look, I got deep and used the deep word. They won't wait.
Yeah.
They're not going to wait till you sit in the mess and stewed
Mm-hmm.
in it, hurt, crying
Right.
forever,
Right.
can't figure out how to get out of it because maybe you're so hurt that you don't know how to go to them because you don't know them.
Right.
Word people ain't going to wait because discernment is
No.
real. The spirit is real.
It's
They're
real.
going to push you. And if they're in the spirit, they're going to be pushed to you to say, did something happen?
Absolutely.
Okay, so then that touches on this. People,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot love someone the way you want to be. You think you can.
Mm-hmm.
You can't love someone the way you think you want to be loved or need to
Mm-hmm.
be loved. You have to love people how they need to be loved.
Amen.
And that's another hat you have of ministry.
Mm-hmm.
If you're ministering, you can't minister to them the way you need to be ministered to.
Right. Right.
You have to minister to them the way their need is set up.
Absolutely.
Go ahead. I felt that thing. I felt it. I felt it. I know you coming. But right before so you think I'm playing? While we're preparing, because she's also a preacher.
Mm-hmm.
While we're preparing and we're studying, do you not get warped sometimes when you're sitting there writing out your sermon? Like, my
Yeah, I
God,
get beat down.
beat just ripped. What? There's a purpose for that because what's being put in you is so that you can apply it
Right.
to who needs it the way
Mm-hmm.
they need it.
Right. Right. So one of the things that I've learned, especially lately, and I've learned it in a different way. Not that I didn't know before, but I've learned in a different way. One of the things that I learned is if you don't love people the way that they need to be loved,
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
then
Watch it.
you're kind of wasting time.
Yes.
You really are because the person ends up completely empty. So I do this. I feel like when there are people in your life, they have to fit into one of 2 categories. You're either in the person's life so that they can pour into you,
Mm-hmm.
or you're in the person's life so that you can pour into them. I
Hmm.
guess I guess I should say 3 because there are relationships where I pour in and they pour into me too.
Yeah.
One recent example is I have a new goddaughter. Um, Only it's not a baby; it's a full-grown adult with a kid.
Oh, you
Yeah.
godmother and grandmother. My.
Yes, the baby calls me Gigi, and I
Oh.
absolutely love it. This young lady is 33. I'm 46.
Hey, you weren't supposed to say that. Wait a minute.
Oops, sorry. We can delete that. Oh, no, we can't. It's unedited. Well, now you know.
I'm still $28.95 plus shipping and handling. Carry
Right.
on.
Right. This young lady is amazing. She's a pastor's daughter. She's been born and raised in church. She was married to a preacher. And as God saw fit, her husband passed away a couple of years ago. And it was devastating to her.
Yeah.
Of course, it would be to be in your 30s and lose your spouse. I
Right.
mean, that's devastating. That's shocking. Now, although we knew of each other, we had been around each other. Our churches are in the same district, so we've been in church together. I know who her family is. She knows who my family is, but we never really had a personal interaction. She follows me on Facebook. She follows me on Instagram. She comments and likes pictures, and I do the same. And after her husband passed away, my husband and I went to the funeral. Of maybe a month later, maybe it wasn't even that long, my husband was called. Her dad called and asked my husband if he could come and preach one Sunday morning. And we went, and my husband ministered, and we had a chance to love on her and talk with her for a few minutes. And then one day, out of the clear blue, she sent me a message on Facebook, and she said, "I just love you and your husband. I love everything about you two. And I'm just watching you, and I've seen how you carry yourself. And although I have great parents, I just feel like I need somebody that can pour into me in a different way, because although I know I can say everything to my mom and dad, I'm not necessarily comfortable saying everything to my
Mm-hmm.
mom and dad. So will you take me and my daughter in?" Of course, by the time I got to the end, I was crying. Like, oh my God, that's touching. It's sweet and it's humbling. And it's very, very honorable that she would even ask that we would take her and her daughter in.
Right.
And so when I messaged her back, I told her, "We'll more than gladly take you and your baby girl in. And you can call us what you want to call us. You can call us Sid and Steve if you want to. If you don't want to do that, I know just whatever makes you comfortable." But her need allowed her to decide that we were her godparents.
Mm.
So she calls us mom and dad. Now I'm like, this is a whole grown woman. Like, folks don't think I'm old enough to have the grown kids that I got. You done added a whole nother 10, 12 years. I'm not old enough for this. But that's how she needed to be loved. That's what she wanted. That was a level of her
Right.
respect. It was a level of, I'm not calling you by your first name. And she
Mm-hmm.
really needed somebody that would really pour into her. And she didn't want me to pour into her as a sister. She wanted me to
Mm-hmm.
pour into her as godmom. And so you're
Yeah.
right. You do have to love people the way they need to be loved. Can you imagine
Yeah.
what would have happened had I said no?
Man.
I mean, that would just be catastrophic to a degree, because if God has something for myself and my husband to pour into her, but we neglect it, what happens?
You're responsible for that. I don't think we
Responsible,
understand that.
right?
That's a
Responsible,
whole nother subject.
right? So she calls me mom, and I say yes, daughter, and that's just how it is. So you do have to love people the way that
Yeah.
they need to be loved, because it's not always about um, just relationships. Sometimes there is actually a purpose, a divine
Yes.
purpose in your
Yes.
connection to people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there is a certain responsibility in that. And
Yes.
I don't think that we get that. Loving people how you want to be loved. It goes even into as simple as, I'm gonna buy you what I would want,
Yeah.
but I don't like wearing orange. And you bought me an orange blouse.
You being nice. Let's
Well,
say it this way. How about I'm gonna buy you the size bra that I wear?
what
Like, what good is
am
that
I
gonna
gonna do? Put it on my knee?
It's useless.
What are you doing? That's a slingshot next to me.
Right?
Come on. No shade at all. But seriously,
It's the truth.
it's just how it is. Like, come on, people. We can't.
Useless.
There's responsibility in that.
Right.
A lot. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm really trying. We don't step back enough.
No, we don't.
As in all these hats. For us, we go back to church because we church kids.
That's what we know.
We're pew babies.
Mm-hmm.
People make jokes about, oh, you so deep. First of all, if you're listening to this and I hear you say you so deep, I need you to understand that's offensive.
It is.
Because we're supposed to be like Christ anyway.
Right.
So if being deep is a problem, oh, you so deep, whatever.
Yeah.
It's offensive.
It is.
It's prejudice.
Wow. Yikes, it is, though.
Did I go too far?
Nope. It's the truth.
Oh, well, and if I did go too far, I did tell them to exit the room, right?
You did ask them to leave. Girl, bye.
Mm-hmm. I am the host of Love Chat. I love you, but God bless your parts.
You're a mess.
Yeah. It's offensive. Ooh,
Yeah.
she's just so deep. And I don't mean it in the way where, we joking around and you're like, oh, you're just so deep.
Yeah, not
I mean,
that.
those, life, we are put here for a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And your purpose has nothing to do with you 9 times out of 10.
Right, that's true.
Let me put that even higher. 9.97% of the time out of 10 has nothing to do with you.
No.
I gave birth to 2 children. And Sydria can attest to this.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even supposed to be able to have children.
Right.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I dreamed about him before I knew I was pregnant.
Wow.
I dreamed about him in such detail that I knew what he was going to look like. And everybody at church, because of Mom Stafford, which is Sydria's mom,
Mm-hmm.
called the baby Carrot Top, and he hadn't even been born yet. Between her and Susan, he was Carrot Top.
Right?
Nobody believed me that I knew my child was going to have red hair.
Oh, and he does.
I knew his purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't put here for me.
Mm-hmm.
I could not love that child the way I wanted to be loved. Now, it's catch-22 to that.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I want to give him everything I didn't have.
Right.
As much as possible.
Right.
All those things that I felt that I was lacking, I want to give him that.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to love him how he needs to be loved. Now,
Absolutely.
he will be 20 years old come October.
Oh, Jesus, child.
Child had moved out.
Mm-hmm.
Moved in with his pa. That's what he needs.
Right.
And I'm not going to fight you for it. Did I like it? No. Now, that's the thing. You might not like it. I just might as well just give you the rest of the show. You might not like the way you need to love that person.
That's true.
But it's not your issue. That's a part of juggling hats.
It is.
Everybody needs to be loved. You got to juggle those hats. Okay, so we go. Oh, God. We could stay right there for another 30 minutes.
True.
We're gonna push on because, my God, today. So, we bring it back. We'll bring it back. You are a minister in the gospel.
Mm-hmm.
You're a first lady.
Right.
You're a vocalist.
Mm-hmm.
You're an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
You're a mother.
Right.
You're a wife.
Mm-hmm.
A daughter.
I'm tired.
A sister.
You're making me sleepy.
I'm getting tired. A bestie.
Mm-hmm.
I can keep going.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point.
Right.
But in all these things, you decided to step out and be an entrepreneur.
Kind of.
Okay. So I had somebody say the same similar thing to me, start naming these things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say to you what they said to me. Girl, you crazy?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's what I need to know.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm a little messed up in the head. I am. Okay, so let's see if I can bullet point this. Some of the stuff I didn't choose. I didn't choose to be a pastor's wife, quite honestly. For those that know me, you've probably heard me say, he tricked me. Okay? He tricked me. He did. It was a whole trap. Yeah. Now I know how some of these guys feel.
I cannot.
Talking about they've been trapped. What? I was tricked into this. This was not my life. I did not plan this. No. And I say that because when we were dating, up until literally we were engaged, I didn't know this boy was called to preach. He ain't said nothing. After we're engaged, he sits down and says, the Lord called me to preach. I was like, oh, shoot. I thought he was the usher or something. I did not want to be married to a preacher, and I was definitely going to run if he said pastor. No, my daddy's a pastor. My godfather is a pastor.
Wait,
my
cousin. You thought he was an usher?
What? Usher. Parking lot attendant, greeter, something.
Oh, the reason why that's so funny, if you all know her husband or if you follow her, she'll tell you how to follow. If you heard this man even just say hello, he sound like the preacher.
I'm blonde.
His hello is a sermon. Turn with me to the book of hello.
Everybody knew it but me. I was so mad. Like, you what? Man, are you serious? But because I grew up with being a preacher's kid and my goddad's a pastor, I've been around pastors and first ladies, so I knew what that calling was for them, and I knew what the sacrifice was for us, and I was just I was not trying to be married to nobody's preacher or pastor. So not all of these hats did I pick. I was kind of, he just threw that one at me, and I didn't have a choice. So here we are, right? The mothering thing, I was always wanted to be a mom, so that wasn't so bad. But I do have 3 children. They are 20, 23, and 25.
No, you got 5. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Let's get this right. And then you got the other 20-year-old twin to the 20-year-old.
Right. See, I didn't pick all this. I told you that in the beginning. I didn't pick all of this. But no, I do. I have my children, then I have my godchildren, and they're all the same thing to me. I didn't pick all of these things. The only thing that I actually I almost picked was being an entrepreneur. And that came about because the youngest, Princess, our only daughter, was getting ready to go away to college. And since the boys are already grown, they're still home. Princess was the first one leaving the house. And so obviously at this point, I don't need to be a stay-at-home mom anymore. Mom for what? I mean, I didn't need to be home to mother them. My husband and I have been blessed and fortunate that I was able to stay home most of their childhood. Quiet as kept. When they got on my nerves and I got tired, I got a full-time job. Okay. So I needed a break, so I got a job.
Got vacation.
Right? Because being a stay-at-home mom is probably the hardest job on the planet. Mothering at all, whether you work or not, is just hard. So when Princess was leaving for school, I literally said this. Now, you have to be careful what you pray for. I know you've heard that before, but no, it's real. I literally said, I'm praying and I'm saying, you know what, Lord, I need something to do because college isn't cheap and because I don't need to be just sitting at home. However, I don't know if I want to go back to work. I didn't really know if I wanted a boss. But then I just kind of was like, all right, that's it. It wasn't I prayed and fasted and, screamed and cried and rolled around the floor. It wasn't no major deep prayer, but I said it and I know my words are powerful.
Ooh, you better, yeah.
Yeah.
That,
because
okay.
I think Yeah, I think sometimes people think that, you have to get real deep and you have to be on your knees. But
Mm-hmm.
no, I probably was just driving saying, Lord, I need a job. I want some money, but do I want to work? I want to work, but do I want a boss?
Mm-hmm.
So I said it. So what happened was maybe a month after that, I hadn't thought any more about that. I hadn't prayed any more about it. I hadn't discussed it with my husband. Nothing. I didn't tell any of my girlfriends or my sisters. But one day I was on Instagram and I seen a picture that someone had posted of some beaded bracelets. They're unisex, custom beaded bracelets. I thought they were beautiful and I liked them. I just clicked like. And a friend of mine, very good friend of mine, actually seen that I liked it and he DM'd me and said, so do you know that those beads, just that one bracelet, they're almost $100?
Ooh.
I was like, wait a minute, hold up. A bracelet that somebody made at their house is almost $100. No, that's you're joking, right? No, seriously. So again, my words are powerful, and so are yours. So
Right.
be careful what you say. So
Mm-hmm.
again, I said, I bet I can make that for way cheaper. Now, I've never had any desire, interest, or curiosity about making jewelry. I had only been into Michael's one time in my life, and I was with somebody else. I didn't go for me. I didn't know where to buy beads. I didn't know what they were putting the beads on. I didn't know anything. So a few weeks after I said I probably could make those, I literally thought one day while I was out, you know what, I'm gonna go with Michael's today and I want to see if they have beads. I literally didn't even know that they had beads in there. I just know it's a hobby store, so maybe they have them. I literally went in, I found the beads, I picked up my phone, I went back to the picture, and Michael's had the exact same beads in the picture. I called a sales rep in the store and I said, I want to make this bracelet and these are the beads, but I don't know how to do it. So she showed me where the stretch cord was. She showed me where the little tools was. She showed me everything that I needed. I bought the beads, I bought the stretch cord, and I bought the information, all the stuff I needed. And then I get home, I look at the picture on Instagram again, and then I go to YouTube and I try to find a video to tell me how to do it. I wanted to watch a tutorial. I watched a few. Okay, easy enough. I sat down and made the exact same bracelet for less than $35.
Mm.
So then I gave the bracelet to the friend that pointed out that that bracelet actually was almost $100. But after I made the bracelet, my husband said, "Oh, I want one." And, and then my son said, "Oh, mom, wait, hey, you made that? Can you make another one?" And then my daughter wanted one. And literally a week later, from the day that I made the first bracelet, this was not supposed to be a business. I just wanted to see if I really could make it for less than the $100 that the other person was selling it for. But after I made the bracelet, I personally, me in my flesh, I was done. I ain't making no more. That was fun. Okay, next. Well, a week later, from the first day that I made it, I had a business name, a business plan, a logo, and orders. And it's been over a year. It's a whole business.
A whole business.
A whole business.
And I've been
So,
dressed in them myself. Yes.
listen, I did not expect, I mean, even when I realized it was going to be a business, I bought the little containers and things that I thought I would need to organize them.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a little corner in my room where they sat in these cute little cases and everything. And when someone wanted a bracelet, I made it and sold it. And okay, thank you. But literally right now, that little corner in my room turned into my entire formal living room and dining
Mm-hmm.
room.
Mm-hmm.
And then before that, my oldest son moved out. So now I have a complete craft and hobby room. I
Isn't it a
have
wonderful thing?
I've had one customer. Someone asked me how well have I done. I will tell you this. I have one customer now. I've got I don't know how many customers, but there's one customer that I have who saw one of my bracelets and he said, "I've been wanting these. So has my mom. Can you make some bracelets for me? I'm hosting a conference in Las Vegas and I'm giving my panelists and guest speakers gift bags. Can you make bracelets for my gift bags? And then some for my wardrobe and for my mom for that conference. And I said, sure. I invited him and his mom to my house, and they came to the house. And in one night, that one person spent $700.
Mm. Any other
So,
questions?
yeah, right? So guess what? Let's go back. What did I say? God, I need some money. I need
Right.
to be able to help my baby in school. I don't know if I really want to have a boss, but I do want the money. Oh, I think I can make that.
Right.
And that's all it took. So it wasn't going into business wasn't a plan. I wasn't looking for a business when it happened. And since then, there are other things that I'm going into. Now I'm making custom hand sanitizer. And by custom, I mean it's hand sanitizer, but it's in the scent of perfume or cologne that you wear.
Yeah, I have that too.
I love it. I'm having so much fun with this. Mm-hmm.
But you said something though. Even in your resistance, because there was some resistance,
Mm-hmm.
the reality was in the details.
Mm-hmm.
Words are powerful.
They are.
Your words are powerful. And I don't know, right now, there might be a business owner, there might be you might not be a business owner, you might be just working for someone's business
Right.
and wanting to promote or wanting to raise.
Mm-hmm.
There's power in your words.
Absolutely.
God, I
Say it.
want this.
Right.
You might be single like I am.
Mm-hmm.
God, I want a husband. And
Right.
Sydria can tell you, I ain't said that till recently. Like,
Right. You are the most runningest sister I got. Heifer, listen. Let me talk about you real quick. You have ran from everything. Oh, I don't know what that is in you. You run well, but you gotta stop running. I think you stopped recently. I
I'm
mean, because you kind of ran from preaching.
oh, she gonna put me on the blast. Okay, I'm accept this.
You said unedited.
Listen, I knew people. I knew having her on, she was gonna read my life. So go ahead, put it on the table.
I'm gonna
Read the
fix it.
tablet.
I'm gonna fix it though. I'm not gonna make it bad because it's not a bad thing. You ran from preaching, and you kind of ran from wanting a husband. But I know you, so I never thought it was that you didn't want a husband. I just knew you didn't want to make a mistake. You didn't want the wrong thing at the wrong time. And you
Yeah.
always knew that there was something that God called you to do. And you knew you couldn't be like I tried to be. And that was married to just anybody, a parking lot attendant or somebody to pump gas. I don't know. Because you knew that the hand of God was resting on your life. And you knew that what God called you to do, there was a certain person or a certain type of person. And you didn't see that for a long time. And so
Mm-mm.
getting married was just not your thing. And you were right. You did not say it a lot. You didn't actually
Mm-mm.
say it at all until recently. But here's the thing about running, because I don't want to make that sound like I'm throwing you under the bus.
Yeah, and
Sometimes, no,
you know
no,
I needed a Samson.
yeah, no.
Mhm.
It's not a throw under the bus at all, because sometimes, and this might sound crazy to some people, but I think I can explain it. When you see people that are constantly running to the mic, turn the PA system off.
Ooh, say that again. Say that again.
When you
Say that
see
again.
people that are constantly running to the mic,
Ah,
turn the
e-bogle.
PA system off.
Mm.
Now, let me explain why I say that. Some people want to be a preacher because of what it looks like and not what it is.
Mm.
I hear young girls all the time. Oh, I want to be married to a pastor. Boo boo kitty.
Chaplain.
Let me tell you, get your head examined, okay? Because you either crazy or sleep. Ma'am, you want
She
what?
called you Boo Boo Kitty.
Boo boo kitty. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to be more respectful.
No,
Sister boo boo kitty.
Sister Boo Boo Kitty. You know that.
No, that's not something. When I was a kid, and I said this, I was a guest at another church. There was a panel of first ladies, and I said this, and I mean it. You can ask your first lady, whoever she is, if your first lady is me or if your first lady is First Lady May Blake. You
Mm-hmm.
can ask her, when you were a little girl, what did you want to be when you grow up? I promise she's not going to say a first lady.
Mm-mm.
That's just not like who, why?
Mm-mm.
Why?
Because I
So
know what I didn't say. I knew. No,
right.
no.
No, if
Mm-mm.
you're not if you want to be a first lady, then you're not seeing what you should be seeing. You're seeing a certain seat in the church or a parking space or
Right. A position.
yeah, or a St. John knit and a Jack McConnell hat. That's what you're looking at. You're not
Mm-hmm.
looking at the sacrifice.
Nope. You're looking at status.
Yes.
Oh, that's a whole nother subject.
Yes.
Mm.
Check this out. You're looking at the anointing that he carries, but you have to understand that where there is an anointing, there's fire.
Right.
You don't want to get too close like that. Not if that's not really what God called you to do. So your running wasn't always running because I just don't want to or I'm not going to. It was never, I wouldn't say it was a refusal. A lot of times the people that run from God first are one, the people that God have called. Ask Jonah.
Mm.
Jonah ran the opposite direction, but God called him. Now he had
Wow.
to get in line. He had to submit, and he did it. But in the front, Jonah ran. And so I'm
Mm-mm-mm.
just a little leery, and I'm going to keep my eye on you if, oh, I want to be a pastor. I want to be a preacher. I want to be a pastor's wife. I want to be a bishop. I want to. Well, what did God call you to do?
Right.
And can you carry it? Can you handle it? So, no, running's not a bad thing.
I'm trying to be quiet, but I can't.
So crazy. Oh my God.
You're right. I did run. I
You
ran from
did.
being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It's a natural thing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll hold a job and hold it.
All the time. You've always done that.
But like entrepreneurship, but I love helping you get married. I
Yes.
love planning your events.
Yes. And I've
But
actually been with you doing a wedding once some years back. And I could tell then, and I don't know if you remember the young lady's name. I don't. It was a wedding that was done out at Mickey's Grove in the garden. It was really,
oh,
really beautiful. You did an absolutely phenomenal, breathtaking, amazing job. It was fabulous.
thank you.
But what I learned about you then was she's really, really called to this because you weren't running around stressing and angry and having a fit. We all know weddings are stressful and brides can be crazy.
The little Zilla.
But listen, I watched you serve that lady and work at her vision until she seen what she dreamed. And you were passionate about it. You didn't seem angry. You didn't seem flustered. You weren't nervous. You weren't scared. It didn't intimidate you one bit. You got that job done.
Well, I guess that goes back to what you said about being called to it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, words have power.
Right.
So even in the times that I'll be like, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm a dreamer.
Mm-hmm.
If you know me, I'm a dreamer. And when I say dreamer, I'm not meaning in the sense of, oh, I wish I could do this. No, like I have dreams.
Right.
And they're in detail. Like I have friends like Sydria, who's here.
Mm-hmm.
I most of my very close, my besties clubs,
Mm-hmm.
sisters, the close. If I say I have a dream, they usually say, "Oh God."
Because we know you about to work and hustle and grind. And then you're going to try to get us to help you.
And if it's not that, it's the details.
Right.
It might be something about life, and they say, "Oh God, is it me?"
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean for it to be that way.
Right.
And let me put this out there. That because that is on me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest. I ran from that.
Yeah.
I remember the first dream I had, and I won't tell it because I don't want nobody to start crying. but it was a dream because I will probably end up being the one. But it was a dream about something that was about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it was scary for me being probably 10 or 11 years old.
Wow.
And no one explained it to me. So this is something else I want people to understand. You need to pay attention to your children when they're telling you stuff.
Yes.
I'm
Hear
not saying
them.
mine didn't. I'm just saying pay close attention.
Right.
The dream that I had was life altering.
Mm-hmm.
And in all honesty, I was afraid to tell my mother, but I told my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmother said, "Oh," because she knew.
Right.
It was the very details of what was about to happen until right before it happened. So I knew what was happening.
Wow.
That is not an easy hat to hold on to.
Right.
And I'm really trying to keep it together right now. The burden of saying, and I had people who hate me because of it.
Mm-hmm.
I thank God for my sisters like Sid and Heaven,
Mm-hmm.
Aaliyah, Monique, I may not have named you, but you know who you are. I
Yeah.
thank God for you guys, because when I do say, "Oh my God, I had a dream," and y'all say, "Oh Lord," it's not like, "Oh Lord, I wish you would shut up." It's, "Oh Lord, what are we preparing ourselves for?" Because
Exactly.
I need to pray her through this.
Exactly.
You know, because you need those people around. You
You
have to
do.
surround yourself with those people. The burden of you saying, "I want to be a preacher, or I want to sing."
Mm-hmm.
Why she get to lead the song? Why she
Right.
get to preach the song? Why she get to have a business? Do
Mm-hmm.
you know the hell
Right.
that lives up under the hats that we put on
Yes.
while
Yes.
we're being a business owner, a mother, a first
Right.
lady, a preacher, a daughter, all
Mm-hmm.
of those things? You don't, because you wouldn't say it. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you that something Bishop said to me, or said to us. He was preaching one day. The same, and I'm paraphrasing, but the same hat you trying to pick up
Mm-hmm.
comes with a devil,
It does.
and that
And they
devil
be
has no
ugly.
respect of person,
And they be ugly.
and they don't know. He made it plain too. They don't know that ain't your hat.
Right.
They just know you in it.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to juggle these things.
Yeah.
And again, our subject today is wearing many hats.
Yeah.
You want to wear everybody's hat.
Mm-mm.
What
Don't
about
do
the
it.
responsibility for the hat that you're supposed to wear?
Right. That's enough. I learned that. That's enough. The responsibility and the obligation, the sacrifice to carry the hats God gave me is enough. I can't do what you do. I'm not called to, Creature, listen. I'm not trying to wear your hat of designing and executing somebody's wedding. I'd be in jail. I got
She
one
would, y'all.
time.
She would.
That's not a hat for me. And I just have to know. Listen, I didn't want to plan my own wedding. I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't. When me and Steve got married, my mom, I don't know if she remembers this. I have to call her and ask her. My mom got a little frustrated with me one day because I fired my bridesmaids. Not all of them, just the ones that was getting on my nerves. Listen, I had a whole vision of what I wanted my wedding to look like since my daddy made me have a wedding because I was going to Vegas.
You see what I'm saying?
I wasn't doing it. No, we're going to Vegas. My father said, "You're the only daughter I got." No, you're not. Dude, you're having a wedding. Well, one of my bridesmaids, she was my best friend at school. She was who I went to high school with. One of them, and I won't say her name because y'all gonna be a little irritated with her in a minute. I went, me and my mom, and some of the junior bridesmaids and flower girls' moms. They're like other moms and aunts to me. It was several of us. We went to San Francisco, and we went into the Gunny Sacks outlet. That was like 26 years ago, Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mercy.
found a dress that I thought was beautiful. It was so pretty. And it was the color in the color scheme that I picked, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had a bridesmaid tell me after we bought the dresses for everybody, we brought the dresses back to Stockton, and she came over to see the dress and to get hers, and she told me, I'm not wearing it. I don't like it. Okay, I have a whole problem with you now because it's not your wedding and you're supposed to be one of my best friends. So I'm like this. If you ask me to be in your wedding and I say yes, I have to
Yeah.
do what you want. It's your day.
Yeah.
Even if you want me to park cars, I might not necessarily want to go park the cars, but if that's going to make your dream true, I'm parking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when she told me she didn't want to wear the dress, she wanted to be in the wedding because she didn't like it. Oh, wait a minute. And the dress was only $25. Lady, put it on. Put it on. You don't get to like it. It's $25. Just pay $25. Wear the dress for a day, and then you can go clean the bathroom with it if you want to. I don't care what you do after that. But do it. But she wouldn't. So I fired her.
I almost stopped this recording
What?
because you said she can go clean the bathroom with it.
Clean the bathroom with it. Do whatever you
Mm-mm.
want to do with it. Just wear it that day and be quiet.
Oh my
You don't
God.
have to like it. So I said all of that to say this. I could not do what you do and plan the wedding because if I fire my bridesmaids, I don't care about yours.
Yeah, because I fired a bride's mother for
Wait,
the bride.
no. Hold on. Hold
Yes,
on.
I have.
I know we
I
said
did.
unedited, but do you really want to say that?
Yes, I
You
did. I fired
fired
her
a
mother.
bride's mom.
Yes, sit down. That's my job, though.
Lucretia.
That's
It
my job.
is, but oh my God.
This is her day. It's
Yeah.
her day.
You
And I'm
fired the
sorry.
girl mama.
My contract is with her, not with you. Sit down. With the smile. Sit down. God bless you real good. Walk off.
I can't. There's
Mm-hmm.
something wrong with you. You fired the girl mama.
I sure did. Mm-hmm.
I get
I
it, but
threatened
you
to fire a
crazy.
bride
Oh,
on her wedding day.
oh, not the bride.
Yeah, we ain't gonna even go there, but yes, I did.
But did you keep the contract though, Creasy? You did the wedding though, right?
I was already paid. I got her married,
Oh,
but she knew I was about to walk out the door. And the real good, God bless you. I don't play those games. I make dreams. I don't torture them. So
you know what?
you're not gonna torture me. Okay?
I can't. I can't.
You know, I'll make it real plain. You know, it's a lot of sacrifice here. Let's get this right. Okay.
Something wrong with you.
Hey, I fired a few people that talked to me lately, you know, because of Love Chat. Like, I don't care that you don't like it. Don't listen. Okay. And stop talking to me. God bless you. Real
Girl,
good.
bye.
Go on.
You say girl, bye.
No. I said, God bless you real good. It's better.
It's
Because if you say girl, bye, but they said, but what? I haven't said bye yet. You say, God bless you real good. They don't know what to say. You walk on off. I'm not playing with you. This is my life.
You are special.
I'm responsible to do a certain amount of certain situations and stuff, and I'm not going to let you interrupt that. It is right there.
Oh my God, this is hilarious. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to hear the reviews from this.
Listen, it's sacrifice over status. That's all.
Right?
God bless you real good.
Goodbye. She just did a whole dismissal.
May the Lord watch.
Right.
Look, I don't even care. They don't even understand. They think I'm funny. I'm serious.
She means it.
Mm-hmm. Comedian too. I wear that hat.
Oh yeah, she means it.
Mm-hmm. One day y'all gonna be in front of the situation. I'm gonna do a stand up. I promise you. I promise you. It's gonna be on my stand up.
I'm just gonna lay on the floor so I don't hurt myself falling out.
There's a few of you that are not allowed to be in the front at all. God, I need to tell the jokes without laughing.
Oh my goodness. My friend.
One of my hats. Listen, trying to tell you what I know. Okay. This has been woo. I think we have poured out and poured into each other. This has been. We are definitely gonna have you back on my show.
Thank you. I'm honored.
For Sheezy. Okay.
Yes.
But before we go,
mm-hmm.
If there was one thing, and I'm gonna read all her little situations again, as a daughter, a mother, a wife, first lady, minister, a vocalist, an entrepreneur, that you
Wow.
could tell anybody, what would it be?
Mm. Wow. One thing,
Just one summary. No, there's no way. Just one little summary.
just one little summary. If you don't keep God first in all of it, you can hang it all up.
My,
You want an example?
take off this waist train and get comfortable.
Oh my God.
Go ahead.
If you want an example and a real life picture of why you have to keep God first and what happens if God is not truly first and you wear all of these different hats, then you'll end up like who we've all been praying for the last couple of days, and that's Tamar Braxton.
My God.
She wears a lot of hats. She's got a lot of obligation and a lot of responsibility, but sometimes we get a little bit too far away from where we were rooted and
Yeah.
what we were taught. She was born and raised in the church. Father was a preacher. And I just think that if she can get back to her roots, then balancing all of this is a little easier. And when
Yeah.
you keep everything rooted in God and you keep God first, then all of the other things that you need to balance are automatically added. A support system that's out of this world. God will put the right people in
There
your
it is.
life. The right people. And I just think that perhaps Tamar needs more sisters like Krisha. Somebody that can say, hey, you all right? What's up? Talk to me. I'm listening. So definitely keep God first.
I'm supposed to let you go on that one, but I also, because you said that,
Mm-hmm.
I want people to understand it's all right to have the sister to say, no, that ain't it.
Right. Absolutely.
Sometimes water does mix with oil.
Yeah.
As much as we don't believe it, that's a part of wearing all these hats.
Mm-hmm.
It's a part of having that support system. Keeping
Right.
God first will give you the foundation you need so you have that support system.
Absolutely.
You know, bringing this all into a summary right now, said to you all how I ran from a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I ran because I was afraid
Mm-hmm.
of the obligation that I thought I had in other places. I ran because I didn't understand a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But just as she just said again, when I remembered my foundation
Right.
and that God was the head of it all, it started bringing me back.
Yes.
He's always been my life raft.
Mm-hmm.
And he's always had a rope attached to it. So that raft might get out a little far.
Right.
But when the naysayers,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, I'm trying to get off this thing. When the naysayers and the people that talk about you like a dog,
Right.
that tell you you didn't hear God, that you're crazy,
Mm-hmm.
that there's no way you can do that, that
Yeah.
you have enough already on your plate. When
Right.
those naysayers, and you're going to be surprised at who they are. I'm sorry,
Right.
baby,
Mm-hmm.
but you're going to be surprised at who it is.
You really will.
The ones that you thought would have your back even won't say nothing and just walk away from you.
Absolutely.
When that happens and you have your foundation, that rope, God will start pulling it back
Yes.
and you're back on shore.
Right.
Just not to say you won't make mistakes,
Oh, absolutely, you will.
but you got to have a Sid in your life.
Wow.
I've had Sydria, I've had Heaven, I've had Aaliyah on, I've had other
Yes.
people in the past, but recently those are three of my sisters that I've had on. I've got some other people that I'm gonna have on, but I'm gonna just use those three right there. You got to have those three people on your
Yes.
life raft.
You have to.
You got to. You got to have a Stephanie. I'm gonna cry. I'm not even gonna lie. There's been some moments Stephanie has got up and come straight to my house. Sydria too, straight to my house. Heaven,
Yeah.
Aaliyah. Don't try to hurt me. You better
Oh
watch out.
no. Oh yeah. No, don't do that. Mm-mm.
It's not
Don't
to
do
say that.
that.
It's not to say we're gonna start trouble. It's to
Right.
say. It's to say. Let me get deep with it before we go. Let's get real deep. It's to prove and confirm the hedge of protection God has around you. You got these people who are part of your foundation that want to pray you through, that want to love you through, that want to tell you when you wrong.
Right.
That is very important. You
It
got
is.
to have somebody tell you, no, sis, no, bruh.
Right.
Not talking
You
about the
do.
naysayers. I'm talking about the Sydrias that say, now you know. Because they've already
Absolutely.
prayed. Because God allowed them to see the church hurt that you have. God allowed them to see the hurt you had from the naysayers. Sydria's got to be around you.
Yeah.
She helps you. And when your hat tips, she tips it the other way. She ain't got to put you on blast to help you adjust your hat.
No. Help us one to another.
Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've cried. I've laughed. And I'm pretty sure y'all have too.
Yeah, I think so.
Sid, tell them before we go where they can follow you on social media.
Okay, so you can follow my business page, which is called I'm Bead Sid Myself. You can follow me on Facebook at I'm Bead Sid Myself, or on Instagram at I'm Bead Sid. And you can follow our church Facebook at Cornerstone Community Center, Church of God in Christ, and we are live every Sunday morning at 10 a.m.
Hey, before I say bye, I want to apologize to Pastor Steve. We never
Why?
even said your name. We talked about you, though.
Right?
We
The
talked about
pastor who
that
was
usher,
supposed to be an usher.
that Pastor Usher car driver.
Right. He tricked me.
I do want to personally thank him for being who he is in your life.
Absolutely.
What people don't also understand is having that good foundation means, you might not be married, but there's a husband around. I'm like, God dang it. You're married,
This
Sydria.
is true.
But he
Right.
makes me pork chops.
Pork chops and candy carrots.
Yes. So until I'm married, I'm still covered.
Right. You're a whole mess.
Well, folks, this has been another episode of the Love Chat, uncut, unedited, unfiltered. Today was a sister chat. We appreciate you being on, Tribe. We love you, Tribe. You know where you can find us: Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Look for us. Thank you again, Sid. I love you. Thank you for being my sister and my friend.
You're welcome. I love you too, girl. Ride or die.
Bad boys for life.
Yes.
This is another episode of the Love Chat. Love you all. Good night.